be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. I don't know where I've seen it, but it seems like several times in the last few weeks I've seen the saying, all gave some gave all. Referring to those that have been in our nation's military service and leading up to Memorial Day, a day to honor those who have died in war, have paid what we call the ultimate price to protect our freedoms. And I've been at some funerals and presided over some with military rights, and there's few things really grab my attention like the playing of taps. I don't know why that song is so different, but it just grabs you as a way of solemn honor to those that did give all for their country. And as we look at those that have sacrificed and given, being Memorial Day, I want to look at soldiers and those that have served and given. I want to look at their past valor and their victories. When we think of those that have went before us in our nation, the American Revolution, and the many men that died, that we may have freedom. We may have the right to vote. We may get to choose what we want. We may be free of taxation without representation. That we could have the form of government and life that we do today. It came at a cost. There were those that gave, and they gave it all. The American Civil War, those that gave to preserve the national unity, and the freedom of slaves in our nation, it come at a cost. There were those that gave all that could happen. In the Gettysburg Address, Abraham Lincoln said, "The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here." And we're right in honoring that, and those that gave and those that provided for us. And in World War I and World War II, the many that died to preserve our freedom and our safety and our way of life. And they did this because in their heart of hearts, they believed there was something worth dying for. There's some value, there was something worth them sacrificing that others would enjoy. And that's why we have a Memorial Day, to honor those that gave it all. But yet, their work is incomplete. Even though we honor and that they gave it all and that they won great victories with great valor, their work is still incomplete. Because our country and our freedoms must be fought for daily. Sometimes they're under attack by terrorists in many different ways. Sometimes it's through a process, political process of undermining our country. And it must be fought for every day. Even though somebody's work is done, it does not mean that the work is complete. A few weeks ago, Tanya's family ran in the river-to-river relay race. 8 different legs, 8 different people, 3 different legs apiece. So there are actually 24 legs of this race. When the first runner got their work done, he was done. His work was done. You run hard, you complete it, you do a good job, and it's done. But yet, the race is not complete until it all is completed by everyone. A farmer could plant his seed, get the soil worked up and plant it and spray it and do everything necessary and get it done. But it's not complete until there's a harvest. It's the same way in our country. The work is not done even though people have done their part. We still have to preserve and work for it. There's still work to do in preserving our freedom and our safety. There's work to do in human dignity and uplifting people and equality and justice. There's still work to do. And we are to continue and complete the work that others have started. those that have run their race and fought their fight and completed their course, it is now up to us to pick up where the men that have went before us, whether it be in Valley Forge or Gettysburg, or the places of World War I and World War II, it's up to us to pick it up. See, their work is not complete until there are people that enjoy it and there are people that preserve it. You know, freedom is not complete unless there's people ready to live free. We can help complete their work as we live in freedom, as we live for what those men fought for. We complete their work. You know, my note down here, I wrote down, I don't know if this makes sense or not, farming is not complete without fed people. A farmer can do his work and bring in his harvest, but in a way, it's not complete until somebody is eating that food and getting fed. Our freedom, our joys, our way of life is a completion of what others have done when we're able to live it out. But we also complete it as we fight for it, as we live for it, as we continue what they've done. There are people today in the armed services that are serving and completing the work and carrying it on. Most people don't carry a backpack and a rifle. But we carry on that work as we vote, as we voice truth, sometimes in the political office, and as we teach values to our children about freedom, about dignity, about human life, about courage, about honor. We complete what others have begun. Their work is done. It's ours to continue. So often, life is a picture of faith. You know, Paul talks about, I've run the race, I've fought the fight. He talks about the farmer gets to eat of his grain, and the athlete competes. And he relates it to faith. And today's Memorial Day, looking at that is a picture of our faith life also. Open your Bibles to Hebrews chapter 11. You may have been wondering if we was going to have a text today. We are. Hebrews 11. Hebrews 11 is a great heroes of the faith chapter when it talks about all those that have endured and they lived for God and they did things through faith. You know, it talks about Abel and Abraham and Moses and all these people. But then before you get to the end, it talks about those that died for their faith. Those that were martyred and killed.